Greetings and salutations, my friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another glorious day here at the Tango Hotel. That's right, boys. We have returned. It's good to see you, my friends. Joker, greetings and salutations. How are you, sir? Hope all is well in the land of the chef. Give me 1 second here. Oh, we got it. And it's right, that's right. It's my
Knights to the Imperium! That's right, Mrs. Tango! With the 64 birds! Oh my god! And my voice mod is still on. Wait. Uh-oh. It won't shut off. No! Stop it!
Thank you, Mrs. Tango. I very much appreciate that. Cheers, my darling. Cheers. Pow. So, on that note, my friends, today is a glorious day. I actually was able to fix my problem that I had with the there we go. That I had with the microphone popping. I just moved to the other computer because for some weird ass reason, Rogue Traitor makes the mic pop, and I have no idea why. I only found like one person who even had the same problem, and there was no solution. Nine. Give me 1 second here. Because apparently my mic is like whiffing out, and I need to like turn it down. About right there. Because apparently when I'm testing my mic, I'm not nearly as loud as I am when I'm streaming. Wow, it is hitting that, isn't it? Really hard. Let's go say about right there. Blaze, greetings and salutations, my friend. How you doing, buddy? How does the mic sound? Does it sound all right? Because I feel like on my little waveform there, it looks like it's blowing out. I want to make sure because I had to mess with it. So sounds fine. All right. So, on that note, my friends, it is time once again to enjoy the most amazing of kumbayas. It's called the simultaneous sip. And all you gotta do, my friends, is grab that cup or mug or glass, perhaps you have a tankard, chalice, or a stein, maybe a canteen, jug, or a flask, a vessel of any kind. You fill it with your favorite fluid. It is the morning coffee. It is deliciously, magnificently tango made. So join me now, friends, for the gloriousness. That's right, the stupendosity, the absolute awesome sauceness that is the simultaneous sip. Brothers of the waffle, citizens of the Tango Hotel. It's happening right freaking now. Go! So, what's going on here? Oh, it's doing that thing. Okay. So I've been working all morning to get my setup ready for the stream today. Everything's working just fine. I leave it alone. And now the Stream Deck wants to like freeze and not do anything. So on that note, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you something else that I was working on. Let me do this. Where is it? There it is. Now this right here is what I've been spending the last few weeks on. I can't even change. Oh my god! I can't even change the frickin' thing. Oh, okay. So here we go. There we go. I'll manually do it. There. So anyway, let's get rid of that. That is my Star Trek video. It's up on my third channel where I have been working very diligently to put together a lore video for all the Star Trek shit that I absolutely adore. Bam, there we go. And why is there no sound? What? Whoa. That's weird. All of a sudden, I can't hear it. Huh. Anyway. Let us continue, my friends. Onward, upward, and outward. That's how it's done, right? Did I do it right? I think I did it right. But yeah, I wanted to, I worked very, very hard on that one. Trying to, weave the story together so I'm not literally just recasting the book, because that would be kind of dumb. So, And hopefully, you guys enjoy it. Mine has been doing well. Press the button, takes forever to respond. I know, dude. It's crazy. So we will unpause the game. So last time we were here, we were doing all kinds of lore stuff. I did save it correctly, right? Let me see. Yes, okay. As you can see, it said 0430 this morning. So yeah, that's what I was doing. And... yes!
It is working! It is working! All right, there we go.
I don't know what it was on, but it was on something. It was on something. Okay, so, my dudes. My bros. Can you hear the game over my loud ass? Hopefully you can. How are we doing up there? Whoa, that is super duper high. I knew it looked that way, but damn. It just all got messed up. I literally had to... I ended up buying another cable so that I could hook my mic up to different computers based on the game I'm playing, because apparently it's just not working with this. So we'll get there. I can hear you over the game. Excellent. Excellent. I got the music turned down. I can barely hear the damn thing.
I can't allow myself to do this.
Yeah, I should probably turn the music up just a little bit. Apologies for all this bullshit we have to do in the background, but unfortunately, it's really hard for me to adjust all this stuff when I'm not streaming, because it's hard. It's really hard for me to listen to it dynamically. I've tried to do that while the stream is live, and it's not gone well for me. Okay, so I believe we talked to Argenta last time. It was the last person we talked to, right? Bridge officer. Oh yeah, we were talking to the Voxmaster. Yes, let us go. She is a Voidborn. Are you a Voidborn, are you not? Okay, here we go. Where does the word Voidborn come from? Because we are children born in the void, between the stars, be it the womb of a traveling vessel, an orbital satellite, or a forgotten asteroid station. Low gravity voyages through the warp and countless dangers of space travel. Everything others hate and dread is second nature to us. Tell me about the lives of the Voidborn and my crew. To us, the groans and creaks and murmurs of the ship sound the way babbling brooks and singing birds do to world dwellers. We hear the ship breathe, know what it is feeling and thinking. We are part of the ship, just like it is part of us. Talking of the machine spirit, are we? Yes, indeed. We perform numerous functions, and there are many officers among our number. Some maintain order and prevent mutiny. Others serve as shepherds and support the crew. And some devote themselves to mending the body and spirit of the vessel. Most of the Voidborn members of the large void ship dynasties that bear responsibility for certain aspects of ship life. For 300 years, the main branch of the Ptolemon dynasty has produced this ship's Voxmasters, and most of our subordinates come from the cadet houses of the dynasty. See, this is one of the reasons why 40K is so cool to me, is that it accurately reflects what could happen in a pseudo in a universe where faster than light travel is not near instantaneous, and people are fear and are superstitious of technology. I really, really like it, because especially with ships as big as they have in the Imperium, to crew these ships, you would have entire like colonies of individuals that all they do is produce people to work aboard these ships. And you would think technology would elevate us, and that's true, but one of the reasons why technology elevates us as far as in our society is because we're a liberal society. Look at places like North Korea, or even Russia, where they do have access to well, in Russia specifically, they do access to have certain levels of technology, but in places like North Korea, I imagine that most of the people have almost no access to any forms of technology outside of the most basic they need to survive. And even then, it's probably limited in that regard as well, right? I've heard absolute horror stories of even people who work in the main tourist cities where they have like no access to like real housing or plumbing or furniture or any sort of technology for entertainment, which is hilarious when you hear about all the North Korean soldiers who got sent to Russia get addicted to porn, which is just hilarious. How do you find life on the ship? Life has been quite generous to me, Lord Captain. I am the Vox Master, and only the best in the dynasty can become one. By virtue of my skills and position, no one has ever denied me anything. Our family claims a spacious section for its what? What the fuck is that word? Hang on a second. Tango's learning. DEMESNE. Refers to a land that is retained and managed by a lord for personal use. Demesne? A portion of a manor not granted to tenants but kept by the lord for his own occupation, used and distinguished by land directly. Huh. Dominus is from the Latin dominus, meaning lord or master. Oh, that's cool, dude. This broadly describe the property or territory owned or controlled by an individual. Nice. So they're wow. So what that means is that means that the Lord Captain is essentially a monarch on the ship, and that her family is a peered lord within the hierarchy of the ship. This is why world building is so important to telling a story. Is because I care about these things, but I'm sure the vast majority of people really just do fucking not, right? But the thing about it is that even if you don't care, it still appears deep as fuck compared to other games like, I don't know, let me see. Let me think if I can one off the top of my head. Maybe Dragon Rage, the Failguard might be one that is like, it looks like it's fairly deep, but it's about as deep as a fucking puddle. I also enjoy long walks through the narrow and dimly lit corridors of the ship, listening to the sounds of her activity, falling asleep and waking up to the chanting of hymns, and admiring the stars beyond, of course. Yeah, like, bro, I was giving Dragon Age the Veilguard a lot of credit for some of the things it did, because it's like, it does feel like somebody put some heart and soul into that game, like they actually like the art that they do, and that they really wanted to make something awesome. But I can only go so far when the rest of it is garbage, and on the fact that it disrespects everything that came before it. Because normally when you're making a sequel, one of the last things you want to do is destroy everything that came before it, which is exactly what Veilguard did. All of the places that you remember from the first 3 games, they're all gone. Burned and razed. They're all dead. Destroyed by the blight of the 2 gods that escaped. And they didn't have to do that. Because they set it up to be the good fight where it could still be saved, you know what I mean? Maybe some of it was lost, but not all of it, or something like, no, it's all burned to the fucking ground. No longer exists. So it's just like, yep. So that's why it doesn't matter who is in charge of the Chantry, or what your Inquisitor actually did, or who the hero of Ferelden was, who you made king, and what happened in Kirkwall. None of that shit matters at all, period. So if they were to ever make another one, which they're probably not because they utterly, completely failed, they ever do make another one, they'll either have to retcon the shit out of it, or it'll be a complete wasteland. But they'll probably never go back there. I didn't mind the fact that they went to Deventer. I thought that was actually going to be kind of cool. But like, the only place they really have left to go is Parahedron or whatever, where the Kunari live. But like, I can only imagine how retarded the story writers at BioWare are going to be when they actually have to write true fascists, right? Because that's what the Kunari are. They're absolutely 100% the like pretty much the truest form of fascism you could possibly imagine, with the exception of the socialist bent, even though they are in practice socialist, if not in theory, right? Because the entirety of their civilization exists within a state and none without. You're actually hunted down as an apostate and murdered if you leave the Qun. And they do look down upon the other peoples who are outside of the Qun, but they won't just kill you because you're not part of it. But if you join it and leave, then you get murdered. And so, and everybody inside the Qunari system is they are assigned a job by the state, essentially by state actors who are appointed to teach the young. And then once these teachers figure out what you're good at and where you can be most useful, they assign you a job and you go do it. And if you feel discontented in your job, then you literally submit yourself for re-education, and then they go re-educate you. So it is an actual fascist system. It is a religion. It's a way of life. It is everything. That is why they refer to it as such. That's why the Arashok in Dragon Age 2 couldn't leave Kirkwall, is because he was forbidden to by the Qun, because he was given an assignment by his superior, and until he completed that assignment, he could not go back without shame, and that shame would either seen him demoted or killed. So I like, and I have a feeling they would just write it as some kind of socialist utopia and like not actually understand how any of that shit works. Because you got to imagine, like, they have their own word for people who are trans, right? In the Qunari society. So if a society existed the way I just described it, what do you think they do to people who do not feel as if they identify with their own gender that they were born as? What do you think they would do with them when all the re-education fails? Look at what they do to mages, for instance, because of the danger that they represent. Anyway, how do others on the ship treat you? We look, speak, and move differently from the inhabitants of the planetary worlds. Our way of life, traditions, and quirks frighten these people just as the darkness of the cosmos. Many believe us to be bringers of ill fortune, and alas, it is the Voidborn who get blamed for terrible warp phenomena during long voyages. She hesitates before continuing. Several years ago, an unfortunate warp jump caused all the food on board to spoil. 15 days later, a hungry and furious crew nearly massacred everyone on the lower decks, blaming us for the misfortune and hoping to restock the larders with our flesh. I would have been killed during the mutiny had Idira Talas not shown up in the right place at the right time. She came to my rescue, and the scoundrels' fear of her was even greater than their fear of the Voidborn. Are you close friends with Irida? Webs of tiny wrinkles appear at the corner of her eyes, the only hint of the Vox Master smiling. The Voidborn seldom make friends, especially among the captain's entourage. But you see, many consider Idra to be different. I am different too. We have spent plenty of time in each other's company discussing regicide over a glass of Amasec. Regicide. Ah, yeah, that's right, yeah. It's funny because regicide is a very interesting word to name that. Except Idra changed after one incident, and we started to drift apart. The death of Lord Captain Theodora made her withdraw even more. I do not know if Idra considers me her friend now, but we used to be very, very close. It is good I can still look after her in my own way. That's cool. Have you ever left the ship? Oh, perception succeeded. Here we go. Interpreting the Vox Master's emotions based on half a face and Vox modulated voice is no easy task. But you managed to catch the undercurrent of her words. The Vox Master is not merely saddened by the rift between us, she is devastated by it. Oh, that sucks. I wonder if I can ask her about that. Get back to this game at some point. Dude, I'm sucked in, man. Did you ever leave the ship? Oh, I once did, and it was dreadful. It felt like the massive blue dome overhead could shatter at any moment and fall, and my bones would be crushed by the gravity. She twitches her shoulders, trying to ward off the flood of memories. The ship is my home, Lord Captain, and I would not trade it for the bounty of 100 worlds. All right. Very cool, very cool. And what are your duties? I am the ears and voice of the Void Ship. I supervise several dozen officers and 3 times that number of support personnel. We receive, send, encrypt, and decode all incoming and outgoing messages through the ship's internal and external channels, and we also ensure clean communications and the optimal efficiency of the crew's Voxcasters. It is interesting to think, when you think about shows like Star Trek, where basically everybody can hit their communicator and like get in touch with the captain, and especially on like even in Star Trek, the Enterprise had like 1,000 people on it. I think only about 700 of them were Starfleet personnel, maybe less. I can't remember. But it's super weird because you would never. They actually did this during the Dominion War on DS9 on the Defiant, where they lost internal comms, and one of the officers, Nog, had to basically use a little comm panel, comm device that was short-range communication, so he could communicate with engineering, so he could give them the orders of the captain. And the funny thing about that is that's exactly how modern warships work. Very specifically, when you go to battle stations, there are individuals who their entire job while they're at battle stations is to man comms. It was one of my jobs when I first got on the submarine. I manned comms in the engine room for a certain station. We don't need to get into which one it was, but basically any orders that came from the control station within the engine room were instead of being sent over the big comm system, which you might not hear over all the rumbling and shit of the ship, and any of the other stuff that might be going on. That way I could hear it. Specifically, I had the sound powered telephones with headphones and an actual microphone that would allow me to convey orders from the control center. And it was the same way with the con of the ship, where they would send orders through the sound power telephones to the engine room control room, and then those orders would be disseminated to the various stations aboard. Every single watch station that had a watch stander on it during battle stations has a telephone operator. That's exactly how you do it, because that's the way you ensure communications happen, because all the people who are doing all their duties while we're at battle stations, they have actual shit to do rather than run over to the phone and relay orders and speak it back and do the bullshit. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I always found it interesting that in Star Trek they basically automated that, which kind of sounds stupid when you think about it. A lot of things in Star Trek, when it comes to like how they actually travel through space, the way they fight and do combat, the way just in general the ships in and of themselves operate, is like Gene Roddenberry really should have had naval consultants, because it's just asinine the level of stupidity that supposedly advanced individuals like the Federation and Starfleet. How just stupid they act when it comes to certain things, like how they don't batten down the hatches, essentially, where nothing is strapped down, everything is just willy-nilly laid everywhere, when you know that the inertial dampeners aren't going to work to stop everything from flying apart if you hit something. And the entire cargo bays, where they've got things that weigh several tons aren't strapped down or secured with anything, and so if the ship does happen to have some kind of emergency and the inertial dampers can't compensate, or they fail, not only will it splatter everything against the walls, but it could literally destroy the ship from the inside out. It's one of the most retarded things that they do. Almost like not having Starfleet. Excuse me, almost like not having seatbelts required in Starfleet. Wait, so Star Trek got something right about the military? No. They didn't, actually. That was my point, is that the fact that I can understand during normal operations you let the computer automate communications, but when you're at battle stations, there really should be there should have been somebody on the bridge who is literally there to communicate with every major department on the ship And their entire job was just to sit there and relay their orders. So the captain didn't have to depend on the computer to do so, because what happens if the comms fail in the computer system? You need a direct line, which they didn't have, and they never had, because if they did, half the episodes they did, it's not they could have easily been solved by a direct line, but there were several episodes where the ship lost power or communication or some bullshit like that, and having a direct line to engineering from the bridge or from any of the other major departments that they never talk about, like, to the coils or to the fusion plants for the impulse engines, or the fusion plants that power the auxiliary systems, or the main EPS conduit heads, or any of the damage control centers and or repair personnel would have made recovering from said disasters much easier than it appeared to on the show, simply because they literally depend upon the computer for everything, rather than having, because like one of the things that I find funny is that many times, especially on like DS9, they talk about how they have backups of backups of backups, and it's like, that's true, they do, but when it all fails, they don't have a backup for when that fails, for when it actually fails. I meant the short range communication bit. No, that was because it was a episode of DS9 during the Dominion War, and their internal communications had been overloaded, and the component they had several components that they needed that couldn't be repaired. They were slagged, and they didn't have enough repair parts to fix it completely. And so they had, of course, they used the fucking Ferengi, because, they're racist, because he's got sensitive hearing, which wouldn't matter if you've got a literal Vox thing next to your head. But that's irrelevant. The point is that that's how they did. That's how they should have been doing it the entire time. Is that even on a small vessel such as that, they should have had somebody doing that at all times before that happened. That was my point. Just like with seatbelts, just like with how they don't have fighters, how they don't have point defense weapons until you get to the new J.J. Abrams frickin' Star Trek, which made me love it and then hate it at the same time because they just fuck up all the lore. Okay. If you ever want to know the worries and concerns of your crew are harboring, or what your subjects are whispering about on local networks after their watches, and what their leaders are clamoring about over shortwave Vox transmissions, just come and see me. I will satisfy your curiosity. And have the Vox spirits brought you anything interesting lately? Forgive me, Lord Captain, I have no information that would interest you at this moment. All right, cool. I am not doing that. That's gonna be bad. It says I got a 95% chance. Can I save it? No. Okay, let's go ahead and do it. The Vox Master nods and obediently presses several switches. Oh, it succeeds! Nice. And the device she is holding. It is done, Lord Captain. Okay, here we go. You address the crew with a rousing speech. They don't even let me choose the speech. And hear your voice roll through the ship, reaching even the normally quiet corners of the vessel. When the broadcast ends, you hear distinct shouts of approval. Wait, does that actually give me anything? You just get a little bit of experience? Okay. See, is there a way that I can show helmet, show backpack? I was really hoping that they would have some stuff like casual wear, because I don't look like a Lord Captain at the moment. You know what I mean? So, anyway, who else we got to mess with? So there's the Fox Master. Ah, the Helmsman. Did I talk to him? I can't remember. I don't think I did. But yeah, Star Trek's always been confounding especially ever since I joined the military and I actually understood like how these things function. It's just not very realistic at all, period. Or let me rephrase, it's not that it's not realistic, it's not authentic in any way. Because even with all that advanced technology, you are possibly in the most dangerous environment humans have ever stepped foot in, and it would be absolutely ridiculous to give up all the lessons learned throughout the centuries of naval vessels and naval voyages simply because you think you're better than everybody else. It seems unholy retarded, right? It's like the seatbelt thing. It always blew my mind. It always blew my mind. Tall man before you mean deep space and isolated space? No, space in general. Space in and of itself is the most dangerous place we've ever been. Period. Hands down. And it will probably be the most dangerous place we ever tread. Simply because it has it is not only an anathema to life, but it is also it is also very different depending on where you are. And so the challenges, while similar, do vary, right? For the most part, when you're in the ocean, if you're sailing on top of the ocean, the challenges are pretty much all the same, except unless you're in like storms and things like that. And it's the same when you're under the ocean. It's pretty much the same kind of dangers almost all the time. Whereas in space, depending on where you are in space, can depend greatly on the range of dangers that you're going to experience. The further out in the solar system you are, the less danger you have from certain types of radiation. Depending on what celestial body you're orbiting can depend on how much radiation you're getting, what kind of radiation you're getting, and whether or not you can actually maneuver in that area or not. And just like you were talking about, in deep space, the levels of radiation are simply background cosmic radiation, with the occasional spike here and there from like distant celestial objects that are spiking either in gamma or neutron radiation that should be like rolling through space. And you can't account for these things at all times. And let's not forget that when you're literally traveling through space, you have to worry about like things impacting the thing you are traveling in, which could, cause you to leak air. Leaking air is very bad. Even though it's not going to be like some catastrophic blowout like it is in most sci-fi shows. The tall man before you appears to be woven from tremendous muscle. Tendons and muscle, excuse me. Blue veins under his white, whatever. We already did that. Okay. Looks like he doesn't have too much to say that we haven't already gotten. So, Argenta, do you have anything else to say? Bridge.
Greetings.
Even in stillness, Sister Argenta radiates energy. With her dark eyes shining and slight blush on her cheeks, she is reciting a prayer and looks at you only once she has spoken the final line. Tell me about the Adeptus sororities. This is going to be good.
Gladly. There are none more faithful to the God Emperor than my sisters. We fight against his enemies by the will of the Holy Ecclesiarchy. I beg your pardon, rogue trader. Here I am talking about what every lesser noble in the Imperium knows. So what exactly are you interested in hearing about?
No, please do go on. I love the voice-acted lines. They say the Adeptus Sororitas are the finest in their faith among the warriors of the Imperium. I take it that's true?
It is. The Sisters of Battle are a fire lit by the God Emperor. They are the echo of his voice that travels through the dark expanses of the universe. We bring his wrath to heretics, mutants, and other enemies of humanity. We protect the faithful from the unholy and unhallowed. Sometimes with words, more often than not with a bolter.
Yeah, and it's, not to interrupt the glorious sister in her recitement, but the only reason that the Federation has not been defeated and conquered is because the other empires around them are absolutely even more retarded than they are. They don't use fighter craft, not really. And when they do, they're still absolutely gigantic, like bigger than like most fighters we have, bigger than like most modern airplanes are today. And the armaments are laughable compared to the things that they could have. They don't use point defense weapons. Which would wholly defeat almost every other empire's ability to do damage to the ships with their proton and plasma torpedoes. And the fact that almost none of the Starfleet ships have armor and almost wholly depend on shields is laughably stupid. When they have more than enough technological might and ability and will to make ships that are absolutely armed and armored to the teeth. Even if they have the whole, oh, we're not a military bullshit, and they don't want to be armed to the teeth, they could still have gigantic amounts of armor that would protect the people that they were trying to serve. It's just, it blows me away. I wish some characters in the game were romanceable, but some really aren't. Well, yeah, I imagine that you're not going to be able to romance her, right? So because aren't they like married to the Emperor or something like that? Kind of like, nuns are married to Jesus. Are all the sisters as faultless as you say? The answer to that is no, by the way.
Even the novices of the Adeptus Sororitas are drawn from among the most worthy. Those who have taken the vows and become a full-fledged sister are the best of the best, tested by trials of body and spirit. Yes, there have been cases when a sister stumbled or showed weakness, but do not expect to hear a story of depravity or downfall from me.
Whoever the voice actor was for this did a phenomenal job.
Each such occurrence is a great tragedy for us all. Light cannot bear the smallest speck of darkness within. And thus those who have trespassed or shown weakness of spirit are given a chance at redemption. They are called Sisters Repentia, and may the enemy tremble before her, for nothing can stop a sister of battle who yearns to be cleansed of fault and weakness.
Like, you can hear the tremble in her voice, the up and down as she talks. It's enrapturing, that's for sure.
Wearing nothing but robes, no armor, eviscerator in hand, those sisters who have once faltered find repentance on the battlefield. Their lives are seldom long, but a death in the name of purgation is a better fate than to live with a shadow in one's soul.
See what I mean? Good golly. Are there any other members of your order in the Kronos Expanse?
None that I'm aware of.
Yeah, right?
But the Sisterhood's orders are many, and can operate independently of one another, sending their sisters wherever their presence is needed as deemed by the Ecclesiarchy. Perhaps somewhere in the Lord Inquisitor's retinue, may his path be blessed, my sisters perform their duty as we speak. I wish it were so. Even a single evening spent in joint prayer and training would bring me joy.
Yeah, like I said, the voice actress for this was just, 10 out of 10.
Once I had completed my novitiate, I was sent to the Calixian branch of the Order of Our Martyred Lady, assigned to the Order's Pronatus. The Order's mission is vital and noble. The Sisters Pronatus protect great relics of the Imperium. We guard them, preserve them, escort them when they are brought onto the battlefield or presented for pilgrims to venerate. And we seek out the relics that have been lost.
Bit my ass.
Neither a coven of heretics
Wholly
nor the most
underrated.
wicked death world can deter Sisters Pronatus when their goal is to return a piece of the great legacy of the Imperium into the hands of the faithful.
Ooh. The Order's Pronatus is not one of the Order's militant, and yet you are a trained fighter.
Don't let the name deceive you. The Order's militant trains sisters to march onto the battlefield as an army. That does not make sisters who belong to the non-militant orders timid and helpless. Both the solace-bringing Sisters Hospitaller and the enlightened Sisters Dialogus know how to greet enemies of humanity. Their dialogue with heretics is usually quite short, with the last word being a bolter discharge.
I can't believe how hard I'm smiling right now.
And my order has all the more reason to be known for the martial prowess of its sisters. We are the keepers of the Imperium's relics. What would become of our blessed hero's legacy if the Sisters Pronatus could not protect it?
You said you belong to the Calixian branch of your order. What brought you to the Kronos Expanse?
The Order sent me to Footfall. My undertaking was to assist the local priesthood of Drusians in caring for a sacred reliquary that had been there since the time of Pastor Mr. Wayne, the station's founder.
Oh, is that it?
Should any more arise, keeping them to yourself would be imprudent. It is a virtue to take an interest in holiness.
Like, the funny thing is if anybody's going to inspire me to stay on the pure path, it's going to be the sister. Tell me about yourself.
About me? I am the Emperor's daughter and his servant. What else is there to tell about me?
How did you end up on Theodora's ship?
I first came here when I found myself in need of passage from Footfall to a remote planet. But I imagine what interests you is not that first journey, but rather what brought me aboard prior to the pirate attack. That story is complicated. It just so happened that
Yes?
I made a mistake. In a moment of laxity, I was ambushed by the accursed followers of the archenemy.
Uh-oh.
I was badly wounded. Lady Theodora came to my aid and brought me aboard her ship, while her crew attended to me in my weakened state. It all happened not too long ago. I'd barely recovered from my wounds when the pirates struck. Truly, the servants of evil know no rest. There is no place where we can be safe from their machinations.
What happened to the people who wounded you? Did Theodora's men eliminate them?
Sadly, they did not. Lady Theodora was in a hurry and chose not to stay on the planet. Her people took me to a ship while I was unconscious, and when I came to my senses, we were already flying away. How I pray to come face to face with those heretics once more, and it's bound to happen someday.
Oh, girl. Girl. I don't think you know. Sorry, my lights are, they're not giving me enough light. You mentioned a mistake?
It happens even to the best of us. My mistakes are my burden to bear. I'll find a way to atone for them.
And where did this happen?
On one of the recently discovered planets in the Expanse. No one suspected that it had already been tainted by the filth of heresy. Had I known it beforehand, of course I would have been on my guard.
Yes, we could go to that planet and deal with these chaos worshippers.
The path to that planet was lost. All the knowledge is gone, along with the previous navigator. It would take immense effort and resources to rediscover the route. The heir to the von Valanci's protectorate must have plenty of other issues to deal with right now. Perhaps later, when the skies above our heads have cleared.
And what was it like traveling with Theodora?
I hadn't been here that long. Just one journey from Footfall, and the other journey, the majority of which I spent in the confines of the medbay. I can't tell you much about the first voyage. I was more focused on prayers and ruminations than on the people around me, or the journey itself. During the last journey, Seneschal Viserion stood out for me. He came by several times to ask about my health. He's an honorable man and a loyal servant of the Imperium. I think he is as meticulous in his inspections of the logistic systems as he is in his inquiries about the health of the occasional sister of battle aboard the ship. But not all of Theodora's people have earned my trust. You know who I'm talking about. There is no place for Adira Tlas among the God Emperor's faithful. I'm surprised she wasn't in league with the pirates. And I'm equally surprised by how deep heresy and treason run in this place. I'm glad we all made it through that dark hour. May the day that follows be bright.
Now see, that's the thing, it's like, if I want to be...
As you wish.
If I want to be a Puritan, how can I keep a heretical witch? An unsanctioned psyker? I have to kill her. At some point, right?
This ship was targeted by heretical pirates, which means that my presence here and the assistance I provide to you are my sacred duty. Sooner or later, I will likely have to return to Footfall to protect its reliquary. But for now, I wish to remain a part of the Rogue Trader's crew.
I see no place for you on my ship. It pleases me to have a servant of the God of the Golden Throne in my crew. May the enemies of the Imperium tremble before your onslaught.
So they shall.
Until next time, sister. Okay. Yes. The Infernus Master nonchalantly lights an... What is that, an IO stick? I'm assuming that's a cigarette. Yeah. Or cigar. From a thermal cutter and spreads his arms in a welcoming gesture. Enrich Montag at your service. He smells of cinder and EO. That's what that is. Common form of recreational stimulant that consists of a rolled paper stuffed with a plant-derived substance. When lit, the substance emits smoke and inhaled through a tube. His face is sooty and his belt laden with a number of heavy tools. You would have taken him for a laborer if it weren't for the greasy and ragged officer's uniform. And how did you become into the service of the Von Vilicius dynasty? Not in the usual way. My ancestors wronged yours and were appointed Inferni as a result. Hard labor, deadly risk, plenty of opportunities to atone. Those criminals have been dead for generations. But we're still serving our time. Maybe we will redeem them one day. Damn, that's crazy. And tell me more about your guild. What interests you the most? Our duty, our state-of-the-art equipment, or our vibrant traditions? Your equipment? That sounds interesting. Smiles guiltily. That was a bit of a stretch, I'm sorry. There is no state-of-the-art equipment. The risks of ruining it in a fire are too great. We get by using human resources and the most common items available. Respirators, fire extinguishers, and flame-retardant uniforms. Let's face it, the lives of the Inferni are not worth much. It's more important that we save the machines and minimize damage to the ship. And how is your guild organized? Same, she isn't romanceable, but the power armor stays on even during would be quite literally flatten your junk. Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, like, I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be chased, right? The Infernus service is split between two different brigades according to duties. The heart of the guild are, of course, the liquidators. Tough guys with nerves of steel who put out fires and pull people from the flames. Others are repairmen, dealing with problems like jammed doors, fuel leaks, and broken vents. And then there's the walking inspectors, who check the decks and make sure that nothing is blocking any passage or access to communication lines. Not sure. And what conditions were you talking about? Traditions. We have plenty of those, like the reminders. Rolls up his sleeves, revealing a tattoo inscribed over an old burn mark. When you survive a particularly hopeless accident, you get a tattoo on your scar. You can always tell an experienced Infernus by their ink. It's like a badge of honor of sorts. How did you get your reminders? Points to the tattoo on his right forearm. This one is from the time plasma leaked from the outer aft circuit. Imagine yourself clinging to the outside hull, thermal cutter in one hand, magnetic clamp in the other. Azure flames burst from the breach, the kind that can incinerate you in a second. Well, I never did that in the void. I definitely feel you. Yeah. All that separates you from death is a flimsy rope and a void suit more ancient than holy terra. Ain't that the fucking truth? And yet the price I paid was nothing compared to my comrades. He slowly moves the augmented fingers of his right hand. As for this one, the look he directs at his left hand is full of bitterness. I got this one in an ammo depot where my wife, Ilsenora, died. There was a fire, and the flames were getting close to the ammunition. I don't mean the auto guns. These were macro cannon shells. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. We put out the fire as best we could, but we were losing. Suddenly, Elsa took my hand, kissed me, and then ran straight into the blaze and activated the emergency blast doors. We stayed outside while she vented the compartment. Quite a story. Sorry for your loss, Enric. All right, well, I didn't expect that. Never let your fire go out, Lord Captain. I mean, no. That's just a little stupid in-joke. Seriously, if you see an Infernus next to a naked flame, run. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Who else do we got? Justikar Sourback. Oh yeah, we already talked to her. She's a fucking boss, dude. That's who she is. Bridge officer, high factorum, bro. Okay, so let's go to our quarters. I don't know what else we could do at the moment other than use the use that thing. I'm assuming that's how we go down to the planet. Okay. Well, they cleared off my desk, apparently. Alright. What do we got? Copies of reports. Huh. Nice. Bit overly ambitious, but sure. Weapon. Oh. Never seen many of these articles before. They have all. Maybe you can't. It's like there's just weapons everywhere on here, but you can't pick any of them up, right? Seems about right. Liturgies of the Faithful. Excellent. We already looked at that. The organ. All right, what do we got up here? Ancestry records. Okay. Oh, nice. It's a skull. That's an orc, isn't it? I thought they had flat teeth, though. I might be wrong, though. Bookshelves are packed. Okay. The Lord Captain's personal cogitator. Shrine of Remembrance. Whoa. Search name? What the fuck? Why is there a search function? Wow. They put... Oh. I'm assuming these are all the backers? That's cool. Yeah, this got to be what it is. That's cool, man. So you could search your name out. Very nice. Lord Captain's personal cogitator. Let's see what's back here. Ah, this stuff. Okay. Vault. That's the books. Oh, hey, we can play it? It almost looks like a Tyrannid. Fear and pain of its final moments. What these? Cracked data slate. The final transactions with Cheristar are complete. Fiery Reckoning is now fully equipped. Okay. Unfinished letter. Mistake cost me too much. Years of work, tremendous resources, all wasted. He has failed at what he was supposed to be irreproachable at. Is that how you say it? Irreproachable. Okay, there you go. Uncovering spies, and this one was a senior officer. I'm not about to discard him. Conrad has served me for too long for his removal to go painlessly for the Protectorate. Besides, he is no fool. He could not have seriously expected to become the next in the Von Valancius line when his skills and talents of Master of Whisperers are so valuable. Let his disinheritance serve as the humiliating but instructive lessons for which he may yet learn. Nice. You're not taking a nap? Master of Absolutions. What is this? Yes, I would like to take a bath. That would be great. That's weird. Doesn't do anything. Anyway. Soothing water caresses your senses, and your grateful muscles welcome the chance to rest. A pleasant languor spreads through your body and allow yourself a moment of quiet relaxation. Address the enforcers. You two get in here. I require company and pleasant conversation. Relax and close your eyes. Tension slowly retreats as you bring yourself complete stillness. Joint by joint, muscle by muscle, pore by pore. Before long, you have surrendered to the bastion of your body, to the bliss of oblivion. Okay? And then you drown. Now you're dead. Game over. Troubles, worries, loss, such things do not belong in this newly established domain of tranquility. There are only the infinite waters of weightlessness, in which, stripped of all their all things superficial, the mind of Hope von Valencius drifts in silent bliss. It is a conscious mind. What feels this consciousness? Ooh. Thoughts of her monumental duty to the Emperor. Such duty can only be fulfilled through service and death, for such is the price of humanity's victory in everlasting war. Could go for Iconoclast, but I think I'm going to go Dogmatic right now. The sacrifice of the many paves the way for the triumphant future for the Titan that is the protector of the Imperium. It is a heavy burden to be the ground beneath his feet, but it is glorious to serve a righteous purpose in unity. Very nice. Sweet. Let's see if we can see someone from our retinue. I simply cannot bathe without my loyal seneschal. Let's see what Argentina has to say. Argentia, excuse me. You are conditioning your body with water treatments? How commendable. Allow me to share some water exercises I learned at the Scholar Progenium. She does not wait for a reply, but immediately launches into a series of detailed instructions. Perfect. This is exactly what I came here for. She briskly explains how to stretch your muscles correctly, makes you repeat each exercise multiple times as she teaches you the best way to do bends and squats. Her eyes are alight with righteous fire, and her voice rings out with conviction. She shows the same dedication to completing each exercise as she does to destroying heretics. Goodness gracious. Athletic Tails face. The sister is tireless, but you do not have her stamina. Your burning muscles beg for mercy as your legs cramp as you gasp for air. This is not exercise, this is torture. Womp, womp, womp. She wipes the sweat from her brow with an air of satisfaction. Good work! A healthy body is like a finely tuned bolter, a worthy instrument of his will. I will take my leave now. Rest and recover your strength. Very nice. That was awesome. Yeah, we're not doing that. No. Peasants don't get to bathe with the Lord Captain. You feel revitalized. This was truly an experience worthy of a rogue trader. Very nice. Oh my goodness. Okay, dialogue, combat. All. Okay, there we go. All right. I do like the little thing. The only thing I don't like is I wish I could make it bigger. It's the only thing. But it is. It is what it is. Okay. I think that's it. Right? Yeah. All right, well, I guess it's time to get off the ship. Where's the elevator at? Oh, there. So we can't go anywhere but the bridge and our quarters. I'm not going to lie. If I were to become the rogue trader, I would absolutely take a nice big fat tour of the ship. Star systems. The events of Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader take place in a vast region of space known as the Kronos Expanse. The sector is composed of numerous star systems, many of which you will get a chance to visit. See, this is one of the cool things about having the Warhammer 40k universe, or even like the Star Trek universe, is that because it's in space, and space has not been fully explored, even in places that are claimed as your own,